Good afternoon, everybody. All right. It's been a minute, I know. I'm sorry. All right. Well, I did make you another video, but I had the sound turned off so you couldn't hear a word I said. I talked through the whole thing, and I got to watching it, and it just, yeah, it was too long for just game noise. So I deleted that one. I ain't gonna lie about it. Anyway, we were running a good little 74 on the back porch in the shade. We got us a south breeze, a little cool, but it's a south breeze nonetheless. Welcome once again from the beautiful, and I do mean beautiful, Tyler, Texas. All right, now we're going to talk about something I do know. Well, I've known a lot of what we talked about, and I've read a lot of what we've talked about. But this is something I know from experience. And today we are going to talk the best truck I have ever drove and the worst truck I ever drove in one truck. All right, now, with that said, can anybody guess what we got here? Okay, kind of hard to tell from this angle, isn't it? All right. Okay, well, let's back up a little bit. All right, now you know what we got? Uh huh. That's right. We got the Freightliner Cascadia. Ooh, let me tell you. All right, let's walk around it. Of course, we did decide we're going to go yellow, white, black. So I got yellow, white, black on all my trucks. It may not be the exact yellow, black, white, but nevertheless, they're all yellow, black, white. All right. Okay, and we are talking about the Cascadia, but we're also going to talk about two other trucks that fall in the same category with the Cascadia. All right. And the, we're going to start with the Cascadia. The Cascadia is essentially, in my opinion, in my book, in my story, the best and worst truck on the road. All right. Let's get back in here. We're going to get, we sitting here in Lufkin. So let's look at what we got in Lufkin as far as external contracts. And I will tell you why I think they are the best and the worst truck. Yes, I will. Uh, no, I'm not going no Oregon. Farmington. Well, that's a pretty good run, though. Yeah, that's 1,000 mile run. We ain't doing 1,000 mile run. I tell you that right now. That ain't gonna happen. All right. Uh, let's see here. Well, here we got a mixed tank going up there to Tulsa. Take a look, see that 470 mile. Well, that'll give us plenty of time to discuss what we're going to discuss. Let's see what else we got. Hmm, got some trucks going over here to uh, yard trucks. And they're going over here to Austin. It's 181 mile. San Antone is 300 mile. That looks like a good run. Okay. Package food to San Antone, Texas, out of Lufkin. We'll take that job. 300 miles might be a little long for our talk,
Time to hit the
but
road.
it's time to hit the road. I'll run over here and get this package food. I don't like the way this looks at all. Let's see here. Go ahead and stop. Alright, we're going to have us a new view today, it looks like. Alright, I'll put these cameras
Right.
here on it. Why it's showing that right side? Oh, there in the middle, I
Get
don't
ready
know.
to turn left. Turn left.
It's got that mirror right there in the corner. There, we'll just deal with it. I like those mirrors there better.
Turn right.
Might be in the options that the mirrors are like they are. I don't know. Okay, we're going to talk about the Freightliner Cascadia. To me, and none of this is factual as far as anybody else may be concerned. This is all my opinion.
Okay, let's find a new route.
Let's find a new route.
Go straight.
The Cascadia is the queen of Freightliner, I believe. Of all the Freightliners that I have drove, she is the best they got. Opinions vary. Very reliable truck. Now I'm not talking engine because, as everybody knows, you can put whatever engine, transmission you can afford in it. Now, we're talking the truck itself. It's a fairly comfortable truck. Now, it's nowhere near X49, but at the same time, it wasn't built to be an X49. Alright. And if you don't know what an X49 is, well, look it up. Alright. As I said, she's a comfortable truck. She's not a real quiet truck, though. Freightliner, as well as Western Star, Kenworth, Peterbilt, they've all went to all this plastic mold trimming. Hey, get on the road. Glanced up, I seen something caught my eye out the window, and I looked up at it. I think it was a bird.
Stay right, and then exit right.
Uh, they went to this plastic trim
Exit
molding
right.
on the dash, plastic dashes, and they're notorious for plastic
Stay right.
door handles.
And then exit right.
With that said,
Exit right.
plastic is plastic. I don't care what you put it on. But Freightliner
Go straight.
is the king of plastic.
Stay left, and then turn left.
And what happens
Turn left.
when you put plastic in one of these big trucks?
Finally, we are here.
Well, it just simply becomes a rattle trap. I have never been in any Freightliner. I ain't been no new truck other than looking at them. All trucks have their rattles. All trucks have their squeaks. You say your truck don't rattle, it don't squeak. Well, there's something wrong. But Freightliner, always rattles, always squeaks, due to the plastic, I believe. I have never been in any one Freightliner. Cascadia, Century, FLD. I've not been in any of them
Time to get the job done.
that did not rattle, did not squeak. Okay? All around they're fairly dependable trucks. They'll get the job done. Okay? And rarely does the truck let you down. The alternator may go out, starter may go out, you may have turbo trouble, whatever. But in general, the truck itself basically will not let you down. It's a workhorse when it comes to that. Okay. Overall comfortability, I would probably rate it about a 7. Now, that does not mean it's good, bad, or ugly. A 7 is just that, a 7. It's better than most on the scale, but it still needs work. The problem with them is the plastic on the dashboards take a beating. uh,
Stay left
sun, heat,
and then turn left.
cold, uh, all take a big
Turn
toll on
left.
plastic, period. And I've never been in a Freightliner 1, the Centuries being the worst, I believe. I've never been in a Century 1 that the dash wasn't cracked, broken, uh, flat, flopping around, held up by bungee cords. Uh, I've just never been in one that you didn't have that problem. Uh, the biggest problem is when these parts start to get loose.
Go straight.
They jiggle the wires. Then the wires become frail. They break, come loose, etc. I've never been in a Freightliner 1. FLD, Century, Cascadia, that all the gauges worked. Oh, they were all there, but they didn't all work. Uh, Half the time you just had to know what you were doing in order to get her done. They take a lot of vibration. The truck vibrates more so
Stay right,
than most trucks.
then exit right.
Uh,
Exit
with
right.
that said, let's talk frame. The
Stay right,
Freightliner frame
and then turn right.
is paper. It's not a
Turn
great
right.
frame. Now, it's not the worst on the market, but it is definitely not up to par, in my opinion. I have seen more cancer on a Freightliner frame than most trucks that have been out there 10, 12, 14 years. We're not talking through and through, we're talking surface. Their primer they use, etc., paint, just doesn't hold up. And I don't care what truck you're in, if your frame starts to go, the rest of the truck will follow very quickly. We can all deal with surface cancer. I mean, that happens. Road salt, etc. It's going to happen eventually, unless you stay on top of it. That's kind of hard to do when you're out here trying to make money. The biggest problem I've noticed with the Freightliner the Cascadia mostly. Although I have drove a few centuries, uh, I've never been in an FLD, but I've heard stories. Uh, the Cascadias uh, are notorious for once that dash starts wiggling and jiggling and doing her thing, you start having electrical problems. And anybody who has had a vehicle, car, truck, bus, plane, once you start having electrical problems, it's time to get rid of it. Uh, quite honestly, point blank, because one electrical problem leads to another. And the next thing you know, your master computer is involved. And at that point, you're talking a total change out. And the cost in a change out is just unreasonable. You can simply go buy another truck cheaper. Uh, that's been my experience. The electrical in these trucks, Freightliners, more than anything. I can deal with a glove box that sits there and rattles. I can deal with a switch that doesn't work. A switch. But when you get about 3 or 4 switches that aren't working, there's a reason for it. And it just escalates after that. Hello, Coca-Cola. Uh, it seems like you got more cab noise, more road noise in a Freightliner. You definitely got more tire rumble in a Freightliner. I don't know if they're thinner metal, less insulation, or a combination thereof. I don't know. But I do know you got more road noise overall. But they're good handling trucks. Oh man, these trucks are like uh, driving a big old Lincoln down the road. Smooth turning most of the time. Even when the wheel gets a little slap in it, it's still not jerking you to death. Like an old Mack will. I mean, an old Mack will. Man, them's tough trucks. But these dang Freightliners, they actually ride like an old Lincoln. They just rattle. Or like a 80s Chevy, you know, it didn't go nowhere without its rattle.
Stay right.
But it never let you down either. I can't take nothing away from Chevy on that. They had some good trucks. But we're not talking about that right now, are we? No. All right. The other thing I've noticed about the Cascadia is uh, components in the sleeper cab.
Stay left.
Very easy to operate when they work. And usually, not always, but usually, when the heater in the bunk stopped working or the air conditioning stopped working, it was usually a wire that has been damaged due to all the shaking. Uh, they didn't call these trucks freight shakers for nothing. They've always had a higher vibration level than most trucks on the road. They basically sit there and shake themselves apart over a period. Has Freightliner ever corrected this problem? Not to my knowledge. Like I said, I've never drove a new truck of any kind. Never even test drove one. The newest Freightliner that I ever drove was a 98. But they're good trucks. They carry you down the road. They do the job. You can buy them all day long for $5,000, $6,000, $7,000. Where other trucks will probably cost you twice that. And just like a rubber alligator I just hit, you seen and heard the noise inside this cab. You've seen the vibration. And that's true to the Freightliner. She is a rattler. She will keep you awake with all the rattling and bumping and carrying on, all the noise. I have never been in a Freightliner that the radio worked. Now the CB radio I put in there worked for a while, but with all the bouncing and rattling and
Stay left.
all that good stuff, even it ended up living a shorter life. Due to the rough ride, the bouncing, the constant vibration. But that's why I say we got 95 miles to go. So I had about right then. So our conversation on that's just about done. It's like, yeah, they're dependable. They're decent trucks. The vibration. Get away from the plastic. If you're going to have a truck vibrate this much, I'd rather have true wood or metal. I can deal with a squeak a lot better than I can a rattle, personally. And if you had metal pop riveted or whatever, I believe even that would loosen up and cause squeaks and such over time. But I think it would be better than having the parts fall off and having to bungee cord them up. Uh, Never once have I had a Freightliner that didn't have wires hanging down from the dash, mostly due to continual bouncing. Or some jackweed getting up there doing whatever it is they do. Can't call it electrical work. They get up under there and they try to fix something that is not exactly a professional, and it shows. And then you got wires hanging everywhere. If you got wiring problems with any vehicle, your personal vehicle, commercial vehicle, whatever, it's time to say, okay, replace it. Oh, but it's a good car. I've had this car. It don't matter. If you start experiencing true electrical problems, it's time to get rid of it. And with Freight Shaker, I would say you got 5, maybe 8 years before it wears completely out. Well, I've got Freight Shaker and it's a 99 or a 2000 or whatever. And if you don't have those problems, you're not making a great deal of money because you're spending a lot of it in upkeep on that truck. Freight Shakers will definitely cost you with those type of repairs. Yeah, they're cheap repairs. I'm not going to lie about it. They're cheap repairs. I can buy a whole new dash, put in minus the wires very cheaply. But getting the wires back in there properly, getting everything to work the way it should. I've never seen a Freight Shaker yet that everything worked like it should. Never once. Maybe when it was brand new, but once it gets to be about 4 or 5 years old, yeah. And I have seen where people have taken a Freightliner. Oh, it's a good truck. But it's sitting in the garage right now. I got it in being worked on.
Stay right.
And usually
and
it's
exit right.
something to do with the electrical. And that's what Freight Shaker
Exit right.
is. It's an electrical nightmare after about 4 or 5 years. Because it just shakes itself apart. But it's a good truck. I'm not going to take that away from it. It will get you down the road. It may not all
Stay
work
right,
like it should,
then turn right.
but it's going to get you down the road.
Turn right.
And that's how I feel about these Freightliners. I'm talking from personal experience driving them. I never once owned my own rig. I thought about it one time. And you'll never believe what I was thinking about buying.
Stay left,
That's right, it
then
was a
turn
freight
left.
shaker.
Turn left.
There was this 2007 72-inch sleeper I was looking at. And yes, it had a Detroit in it. It had a Detroit 350 in it. It had 10 speed, but it was Detroit 350. And the man only wanted $7,000, well, $6,000 for it. 60, I think it was like 6,800. And I was seriously debating on buying it. But knowing Freightliner like I know Freightliner, I knew that it was a noisy, rattly, and I knew it was about time for electrical problems to start. And because of that, I never bought it. So, what's your experience with the Freightliner? Please drop it in the comments. Uh, Tell me,
Stay right, and then turn right.
are my experiences similar to yours?
Turn right.
Now, this is Sunday, and this will probably be out Monday. I challenge you. Give me your feedback on this. I'm not going to call you
Get
wrong.
ready to turn left.
I'm not going to call you right either. I just want to see what your experience with Freightliner has been. Mine is mixed.
This is where it ends.
I've got mixed feelings about Freightliner. Of course, you want me on the end. Alright, folks. We'll get this whooped around here. We're going to try to get in that hole over there. I got up against that dock there, didn't I? I'm for guessing anyway. Okay, let's do this. We can get her in there straighter than that. Bump them tires out of the way a little bit. There we go. Now we're looking better. All right, folks. There it is. We'll drive this truck again. Yeah, liked it. You give it a thumbs up. You didn't like it, give it a thumbs down. Subscribe. Hit that little bell notification. Get everything I bring when I bring it. All right, we're going to try to bring you a couple, 2 or 3 more videos this week. I'd like to get up to about 5 a week, but I haven't quite made it that far yet. All right. So with that said, we're going to drop this trailer. You might as well comment because it don't cost you nothing either. And it do help the channel. They say it helps the channel, so it helps the channel. I don't know how, but they say it does. All right. We had an excellent run, 343 miles, 36 minutes it took us to do the video. All right. Fuel consumption was 58.3 gallons of fuel. That's not bad for 300 miles. World Truck contracts completed 374. We did receive all our bonuses. We are level 194. All right, let's see what we going to do next. Oops, I clicked the wrong button. We're not going to see what we do next. All right, well, there's the Cascadia. There's my views on the Freightliner in general. All right. But I will admit this, they do got some nice looking trucks. All right, y'all be careful. Y'all be kind. May God bless you and keep you.